Today's video, I'm going to be going over what I believe to be the best defense in Madden 26 right now. It is out of the nickel 2-4 single mug. Now, this defense is in the New England Patriots defense playbook. And if you want to learn my entire system scheme for running this defense, it's going to be available by joining our school community. For just $10, you get access to all of my full offensive and defensive ebooks for both Madden and for college football. So if you're looking to take your game to the next level, join our school community today. The link is going to be in the description below. Now, in this video, as I said, we're going to be talking about the nickel 2-4 single mug, and the coaching adjustments that we want to set for this defense is we're going to have our defensive motion response set to disabled, our option read key conservative, our option pitch key aggressive. Our RPO read key is going to be conservative. Our RPO pass key is going to be conservative. And then we are going to go down here and put our safety depth on close and our safety width on pinch. Now, once you get your coaching adjustment set up, the way that you want to set up your personnel in this defense is you want to put your fastest pass rushers on the outside of the defense. So in this case, that's going to be Nolan Smith. And then that is also going to be this guy down here on the Eagles, this guy Van Sumeren. He has like 91 speed, super good for what we're going to be doing with Blitz. And then we have Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter at the defensive tackle positions. This is where you want to put your, your shedders, the guys that can win one-on-one pass rush situations. That's where you want to put those players. And then what I like to do is at this specific middle linebacker position, what I like to do typically is I'm going to put a safety at this kind of offset one. And then at this one, I'm going to put a linebacker of some sort. In this case, it's going to be Nakobe Dean. But again, another pass rusher, type of player. Because when you do blitz him, he is going to be, needing to shed for you. That's pretty much it for the personnel of the defense. And then as far as packages go, nothing too crazy that I would recommend right off rip. We'll just go with a basic package. And then as far as the play goes, you are going to be in a cover 4 based defense. Now, what I want to do is actually want to pause the practice mode session. I want to jump into gameplay. I'm going to show you how this works in a real game. Okay, so now we're in a game here. And what I want to do is I just want to show you how I like to run this blitz in an actual game, because the blitz is just going to kind of look a little bit better. It's going to perform a little bit better in an actual game than it's going to in practice mode. Now, don't worry, I am going to be showing this blitz against a couple of different types of pass protections that you might see. First and foremost being the empty protection. And we're going to do this out of the cover, out of a Tampa 2 right here. We're going to hold down on the button, and we're going to select the Texas 4-man stunt. From there, all we're going to do to set the splits up is we're just going to blitz this linebacker right over the middle, just like this. Feel free to kind of make whatever coverage adjustments you want. But what you're going to see is that if they send 5 receivers out on a route, you're going to get one of these guys looping through the gap consistently against empty pass protection, which is kind of the stock pass protection on a 5-out type of situation. Now, the other way that we were going to show this little blitz here, this concept, is we're going to show this from a base pass protection. So I'm going to set my pass protection to base. As you can see, we have base pass protection. Again, we're just blitzing that linebacker. There's not a whole lot of really thought behind it. If you want to spread your D-line, go for it. And you're going to see that just like that, we loop and we get that pressure through sending that little blitz. Now, if you want to, the other cool part about this defense, in my opinion, is you don't just have to do the send 5. You can feel free to take that linebacker and actually drop him into coverage. And a lot of times it will actually pay off for you. So we're just going to run literally a stock Tampa 2. And you're going to see that with the pressure we're able to get from this Texas 4-man stunt, it really takes this defense to a completely different level. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to force different types of pass protection from your opponent, different types of, double teaming or IDing. And another way that I like to kind of counter is when they're starting to double team or they're starting to ID, is kind of an alternate little 5-man pressure. So one of the best ways that they can actually block this blitz is by double teaming this defensive end. So what I'm going to do right here is we're just going to globally blitz all of the linebackers straight down. And guess who I'm going to use her? I'm actually going to use her this defensive end. And now you can do, like I said, whatever you want with the coverage adjustments. Not really concerned necessarily too much about that. But what you're going to see is if they go with that adjustment, you're typically able to get some cool pressure on the quarterback that you wouldn't have gotten had they not used that double team mechanic. So now that we're back in practice, what I wanted to go over like as we kind of saw, how good the Blitz actually is, I just wanted to go over some of my basic coverage shells for the most popular formations that you're going to face. We're going to start with any kind of 3-by-1, like a bunch type of formation, and how I'm going to set up the defense behind this. So we showed you already that the Blitz is really effective and much, much more consistent in game than it's going to be for you in practice mode. But my favorite base defense in the game right now is just a cover 4 quarters with that Texas 4-man stunt. I like to spread the D-line out. And if I want to run just straight match like this, what I want to do is I'm going to actually hit left on the D-pad, R1 to bring up the stunt menu, and I'm going to hold my left stick up. And what that's going to do is it's going to get my user right out of the gap super fast. As you see, those stunts can kind of go crazy from there. Now, this is just a straight up cover 4 quarters match defense, which I love because it's going to, not a lot of people are going to be very equipped to face this type of a coverage. They're not going to be equipped to face this type of a defense. And so that's why I really, really, really like to kind of base out of that. It's just a simple feeler, can you beat match coverage? That's kind of the main thing that I'm asking. The next coverage that I really like is out of that cover 4 quarters as well. It's really the same thing, but the difference is instead of running match, we're going to shade our coverage underneath, and we are going to play a cover 4 drop style of coverage. This is primarily designed to be a coverage that you can adjust out of. If you want to cover 2 one side, you can. But what I like to do really the most is simply use this as a switch stick defense. And we're just looking for where are the routes that we need to switch to and how can we possibly do that with that right stick. So that's another one of my favorite ones, is to utilize the shade down cover 4. Another really good one in like kind of longer yardage situations is if you shade over top, it's going to put these curl flats on the field. What's nice about the curl flats is they do a really good job at defending corner routes this year. So those curl flats are going to be really good for taking away those short corners that a lot of people like to hit. So those are kind of my base cover 4 coverages. I've shown you my cover 2 coverages, and now, I've shown you my match coverages, and now I'm going to go over my basic cover 2 type of coverages. Now, the way that we're going to use these kind of cover 2 roll type of coverages is through just simply using cover 2 on one side and cover 3 on the other. We're still going to be basing out of that Texas 4-man. When I send 5, I love to run just a basic cover 2. Another way that you can do this is if you wanted to, you could run it like this. And the nice part about this is you can kind of start on this flat defender and then kind of quickly switch to the vert hook to defend stuff over the middle of the field. So that's one of my favorite coverages, but really the other ones are based out of a Send 4. And what I like to do is I like to do this right here where we're going to cover 3 the bunch side, but really important, you want to shade underneath, and then you want to re-cloud flat that outside player, and you want to put this guy on the right side in a curl flat and your user in a hook curl. This cover shell is really effective for defending bunch type sets because these curl flats are going to do a really good job of taking away any kind of short corner on that right hand side, which is then going to force them to have to throw into basically a switch stick defender. But as you see right there, obviously the animates, he's going to play that fairly well. Another coverage that I really like against bunch when we're talking about these cover 2 kind of coverages is I love to, again, we're going to put this defender in a hook zone. You don't have to, but I do think it's helpful. We're going to shade underneath. And then what we're going to do is we are going to run a cover 3 on the left side now. So it looks like this. And again, I love the curl flats in this game. From there, we're going to soft squat this outside corner. What this does a really good job of is it does a really good job of the fact that they're going to struggle to throw pretty much any corner route on that right side, no matter how deep it is. And that soft squat is just going to do a really good job of kind of matching onto, the corner routes that you're going to be facing with. Now, if you wanted to, another thing you could do in these long yardage situations, one of my favorite defenses, is we are literally going to call this Tampa 2, but we're going to put both safeties here in an outside third. We're going to put our user in a middle third, and then we're just going to do that D-pad trick where we're going to hold, we're going to go left on the D-pad, R1 to bring up the stunt menu, and then hold up on the left stick. We're going to run this guy super far back, and then we're going to switch stick onto these vert hook defenders and look to defend anything coming underneath. This is a great way to defend any kind of like long yardage, like third and 15, third and 20. You also don't have to put the outside thirds on both sides. one of the things that I really like to do is put the outside third on the wide side and put the deep half on the short side. This is going to help if they might have like a cover three bomb, for example. It's normally not going to bomb, this type of a coverage show. This is why I love this defense in this game, is because it has it just has a lot of versatility, a lot of things you can do from a coverage adjustment perspective. And I wanted to take just a quick second here and show you how I like to run the defense against some of those wonky trips tight end or trip more spread out type of formations. I get a lot of questions of, how to stop, trips. And so let's go ahead and get into that. Again, if you want to learn this entire defense, it is going to be dropping in our school community. So if you have not joined our school page yet, that link is in the description. One of the easiest ways to defend any kind of a trips tight end type of formation is using this play cover 9. And the reason why it's so good is because you have a cover 2 on one side, a cover 4 on the other side, but there is a matching principle within it, and it's really due to this vert hook. You're going to see that against verticals, this is going to just actually cage it. You get great matches from the backside, inside quarter. You get a great match from that vert hook in that soft squat as well. So I love this play to defend, kind of a lot of what people like to do out of trips. Another very popular trip side in type of route combination here would be a flat, an in route. Let me actually just set this up. It would be like a crosser. It would be a flat route. It would be an in route. And then there would be some kind of like streak like this. So why is cover 9 really good for this? Because cover 9 does a really good job of defending that crosser. So you're going to see here that crosser is going to get matched by the quarter, and then you're pretty much good to go in terms of how you're playing defense. So that's another one of my favorite coverages for trips tight end. I still really like just a basic cover 4 quarters. The one thing is if you really don't want to be audibling your defensive play at the line of scrimmage, because they will move and it's a little bit of a tell. But as you see, that Texas 4-man is super powerful. It's actually super powerful specifically out of this defense, which is why I highly, highly recommend this defense. I think this defense is by far and away just the top defense in the game. The only other thing I didn't really go over was a 5 wide. If you ever get 5 wide, typically what they're doing is they're trying to call 4 verticals. So what I like to actually do against a 5 wide type of look is this is where I want to be in a cover 3 match based defense. In this case, we'll just use this cover 3 buzz match, and we're going to use that Texas 4-man. As you see, that slot corner gets over the top of that number 2 receiver, and he is going to take that away. And you're going to see that really the only thing you need to do is just match the tight end crosser, and you're going to be in a pretty good spot. Now, if they have a drag coming backside underneath of this, one of the best little strategies is to switch stick to that seam flat and take it. But really, for the most part, we're able to play it pretty well. And this also is really good because they can't throw, like, the reason why I love cover 3 match against this is they can't throw a seam streak on either side of the field, which is why those seam flats are so good. And then really, as you see, of course, we have to take the tight end, but that's the only thing you really have to guard on this play is really that tight end route. So that's one of the main reasons why I love that. And really, one of the best things you can do, I think, against this is you can take this safety here and you can actually put him in an inside quarter. And you're going to notice that within a cover 3 match against a trips alignment like this, watch that inside quarter. You'll see that he'll actually match the tight end perfectly across. And then you still have that seam flat matching the number 2 receiver and that outside third matching the number 1 receiver. So this is another way that you can kind of craft a little bit of cover 4 quarters type of coverage shell within a cover 3 match based defense. Now you might be saying, okay, well, what if they run like a deep post on the left side and they try to isolate that guy? It can potentially, but normally the cover 3, that third, it does a good job of matching, as you see right there, matches to it properly, and he's able to take that away. So if you're ever struggling to defend 5 wide, this is one of the best defenses that you can possibly have against a 5 wide type of formation. And then the other thing that I like out of this is, let's say somebody wants to come down here and they want to run the ball. One of the easiest ways to stop the run in this game is this play 1 LB dog and nickel 2-4 single mug. All you're going to do is blitz the linebackers straight down. And what you're going to see, I like to spread my line and crash them down. But typically what you're going to see here is you're going to use her on this guy. And I would highly recommend route committing outside. If you want to shade over top to help prevent bombs, you can do that. But basically you're just looking to, kind of come down. Hopefully you don't do that. But you're just looking to essentially fill the gaps as needed. So let's see if we can actually get this thing to be a little bit more proper here. And you'll see there's really nowhere to go. This defense has, by default, a little bit of a unique alignment that makes it, I think, pretty good for stopping, any kind of base run that somebody's going to do. The other thing that I like about this is, let's say that they want to run the ball down the middle. So if they want to run the ball down the middle, you're still in a pretty good position here, and you're not really overcommitting with what you're doing. And the other thing is you are sending 6. So if they are able to run this, you're still going to be in a good spot to get pressure if they send 5 out on a route. So this is one of my favorite ways to just be able to counter the run game out of this formation is with this simple play. You don't have to blitz the linebackers. I do recommend spreading the D-line out just because it really kind of forces everything back to the middle. But this is how I like to shoot and stop most of the runs. You do have, within the Patriots playbook, you actually do have the ability to go down to a 4-3 tight or a 4-3 even 6-1 or a 3-4 odd. So you have all of the good run stopping formations if you need to get into them. But by and large, guys, this is an amazing defensive playbook. And in my opinion, the nickel 2-4 single mug is by far and away the best defense in the game right now. And if you want to learn even more about this defense, join our school community today for just $10. It'll get you access to all of my full offensive and defensive ebooks for Madden and for college football.